we have examples of people that live the characters so deep that they never let them go, like Heath Ledger from the Joker. The guy was clearly not trying to kill himself. He was trying to kill the Joker. He was trying to silence that voice inside that he let in that he let inside him. Depending on the project and the character that you are going to portray, it can be very dangerous. They completely lose the sense of what's real and what's not in every single way. They never know who actually is your friend and who's not, who's trying to get something from you, who's not, who's using you for attention and who's not. It is really hard to become friends with influencers because I feel like they never trusted you, and it's really rare for them to trust you. They are kind of paranoid in that sense. It was not a rape scene. It was an almost rape scene that in the scene that like got cut off. But the character did not know that it was gonna be saved. I let the actors go as far as I thought it was respectful enough, but the actors did not know when I was gonna say stop. So it was giving her their anxiety of like, when is he gonna stop? When he gonna is he gonna stop? Is he gonna stop? Is he gonna stop? What the f is this crazy director gonna make me do to give her that anxiety? And then when I saw true fear in her eyes, then I was like, okay, that's it. That's the feeling.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Kotodama Podcast. My guest today is a Netflix film producer. He's on different types of platforms. Amazon Prime, you can watch his movies. He's a film director. He's an actor, a writer. He's been in theater for many years. He's originally from Brazil. And I think you are now also in Brazil. So Victor Soares, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you. I'm such a small channel still, and I always appreciate when people are like looking, like, willing to do this, even though it's, still a small show. So I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And also, you're the first person I'm interviewing who's in the film industry. I think you're not going to be the last one. I think some people lined up too, but so I'm very interested. I have so many questions for you. Thank you so much.
There's not such a thing as a small channel because every audience is important, and also you never know where things go. So it's always a pleasure for me to talk with people that are interested to talk about my work and the industry that I love. So I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy that you invited me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot. And we just talked actually a little bit before we started recording, and you already said you started in theater and YouTube. Please explain that. I didn't know you were a YouTuber.
Yeah, that's something that most people actually don't know that like there's a kind of a thing that in you, the internet industry in Brazil that I'm the biggest Easter egg in the history of Brazilian internet because I started Brazilian YouTube started in 2010 basically, like the biggest the trend of starting to make videos started in 2010. There were some people that did before, but like 2010 was the year that everything actually started. And I was one of the first ones who started making YouTube videos, like vlogs and talking to the camera and making sketches and things like that. Um, I started alongside some of the big ones that now have 100 million followers, 50 million followers, and all that. We started at the same time, and back in the day, it was just for fun. I was in high school. I did theater. I was in theater as well, so I was doing theater on the side. I did some short films, independent short films with friends, and like really really amateur things from like high school kids back in the day. Nobody had phones like this. So it was like handheld cameras and all that. And then YouTube started, and I was like, okay, like I saw a couple of guys doing this, and I was like, okay, this might be cool to do. So it got some traction. I got my first video got over 1,000 views, which back in the day, it was like a lot for first video. Um, but those 1,000 people
It's
were
still a
from
lot.
my school. Yeah, it's still a
Oh,
lot. Yeah, true. But also
wow.
the crazy thing is that those 1,000 people were from my school, so I went viral in a way, in my school.
Was that
And
a blessing
yeah,
or a curse?
the worst curse you can imagine. It was like it turned like because you know people that got bullied from the kids in their class, right? Now imagine you're getting bullied by the entire freaking school and people know you in the streets and that like back in the day it was just a crazy kid making videos on the internet. Nobody knew what YouTube was. There was not such terms as YouTuber, blogger, or influencer or nothing. But
Yeah.
eventually that turned into a blessing because some of my videos got like I got a video that got 200,000 views in my first year on YouTube, which back in the day was 200,000 views was like having 50 million views today, basically.
Yeah,
Um,
I can imagine.
and that got me to have contacts with some people from the internet, some that eventually became famous, and um I've started collaborating with some people. I never got like hundreds of thousands of followers because I never posted constantly. I was the guy that posted for 2 months and then disappeared for three. So I was always this guy. Um,
Yeah.
but people liked my content, so I started working with these guys that became famous and started to become their editor, creative director, um, producer. I actually managed a couple of influencers for a few months. Was the worst thing I did. I hated it. But
Wow. Why
yeah,
did you hate?
so
Wait,
that's
this is such a. This is crazy. You did so many different things. So you kind of started. So the first kind of producing that you did was then for other YouTubers, or and then
yes.
how did
I mean, the
influencing?
independent it was the independent films were the first thing, but professionally, like making money out of it, it was you for other YouTubers basically.
Wow. And why did you hate managing people like influencers?
A good manager, it's an evil person.
Why do you
That's
say that?
you need to be an evil motherfucker to be a great manager because you need to use people to gain stuff. You cannot care much about for you to build like for you to help your artist to deliver the most success. You can't care about their mental health or ethics or anything. You want them to go viral. You want them to have more to attract more brands. You want them to do this and that and that. Like I lasted a couple months doing this because it was
Wow.
just the things I saw from behind the scenes on management was just like yeah like okay, I'll pitch to you to be your manager. I'll show you how amazing you are and how much I love your content and how much I think you're gonna be the best. And then in a couple months, if you don't give me what I need, I will keep you there. Like you're still mine in a way, but I would just move on to another influencer and try to do the same thing with them. And whenever you call me
Wow.
saying, "Hey, I need this for my career," I was like, "Yeah, just stay there. I'll go back to you, unless you go viral, and then I'll go to you again." So couldn't do
Wow,
that.
so it's very it seems yeah, it sounds extremely narcissistic. I always think that though about the entertainment industry. Oh my God. Yeah, I have many questions for you. But let's start with first of all, you said you're in before we started recording, you said you're in your family's place right now in Brazil?
Yeah, just taking a couple weeks here before going to Rio and São Paulo again. So just I like to come here, stay like a week just to get some fresh air in the
Yeah, I can
mountains.
imagine.
So
Yeah, I mean, we met in Tokyo. And and I believe you said something about didn't you say you're a nomad kind of? Like I'm not sure if I could remember correctly, but you're not always living in one place only. How is that right now for you?
since the pandemic, I don't have a house. During the pandemic, I had to um cancel my leasing contract in Los Angeles. Uh, I, I couldn't even get back to LA during the pandemic. So um I had to make a decision and I was trapped in São Paulo in Brazil. And then when things started to open up, I got back to so the thing I started to while things were, I couldn't, during the year that I couldn't go back to the United States, I traveled a lot around Brazil. So I got the chance to work in different states here, and Brazil is the same size as the United States, basically. So you have a lot
Huge.
of opportunities in different areas. It's like traveling different countries in Europe, basically. But
Yeah.
it's different states here. So I got a chance to do that. I was like, well, okay, there are opportunities in different places. So when I got back to the United States, first, because it was still during the pandemic era, we had mandatorily to stay 15 days in quarantine in a way in another country, and I chose the Caribbean because it was not just
Amazing.
cheaper than other places, but it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So on my way back to the United States, was like, I don't. Why am I gonna stay? Because spent 4 years without leaving LA, basically. Like Los Angeles, one
Wow.
day, like stay 2 days in Vegas, then Los Angeles again, stay 5 days in San Francisco or San Diego. But that was it. Like, so I was like, why am I gonna stay stuck in this? Like, there's much opportunity, so much to see. And then I got
Yeah.
back to LA, stayed a few months there, did direct a live stream, which is the movie that is on Apple TV right now.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
from that moment, I was like, I want to keep traveling. I don't want to stay here. So that's it. I just started to, okay, I'm not gonna have a home because that would mean I would have to keep paying the bills uh in this place even though I'm not there. So
Yeah.
I became a nomad by necessity in a way. I needed to travel for one, my mental health, second um for the industry, like I'm making contacts and having more opportunities, and third for financial reasons because if I kept one place, I would need to pay that constantly out, and I would not be able to afford travel this much as I do. So
Can
it just
imagine.
happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay. No, because I often talk with people actually who are digital nomads, and I think it's kind of the future, anyways, because of the internet. I don't know why we're still all tied to one place. It makes zero sense to me. And thank God, like a lot of like larger corporations even are now noticing that. So even for people who are employed, like a lot of companies now offer you can actually work from anywhere for a few months, or some are fully remote, which I think is amazing. I think it's the future. But yeah, actually, my first well, I already asked you many things, but one thing I wanted to ask you is like your earliest memory in childhood. Like, what was your earliest memory of like I want to make stories?
It's crazy because I don't have that memory. My dad tells me about that memory. The of his of like think he tells me this story, and I have flashes of it, but I don't have the actual memory. So my my oldest memory that I have about the industry, I'm already doing it. I'm already picking up the camera and creating things. But my dad tells me about this day when I was 4 years old and I was watching Aladdin, and I asked him where do they make the movies, and he said Los Angeles, and I said I'm going there. So yeah, so I guess everything started with the Latin in a way. I do have a vivid memory from when I was already older. I was 11. Um, and already knew I wanted to make films. I already, but back in the day, I thought I wanted to do animation. Because everything I loved was
Oh,
Disney, and I thought I wanted to do animation. But I'm a terrible drawer. I cannot draw. I really cannot, like, I can barely write. People that read the things I write, they can barely
me
read
too.
that.
I mean, oh my God,
You
I cannot
try to get
even
me.
read my own handwriting. I'm confused with my own handwriting. I'm hoping right now because I have it here handwritten my questions. I'm like, hopefully I'm able to read my own crazy shit that I wrote down here because like I feel you on that. That's so interesting.
I
So
already gave
that's
up handwriting. This is my notes. This is
yeah, and I think actually this is a different tangent, but I feel like lately, I mean, I speak Japanese, for example, but like handwriting, forget it. Like I'm not doing that, you know? I mean, I can a bit and like, but it's not used anymore. And even Japanese people now, they forget often like,
how to
how
do
some
that. Yeah.
symbols are written. Yeah. But okay, that's so
Even more
funny because
katakana or kanji. How you gonna write down kanji? That's gonna be
you know,
crazy.
actually, you know about katakana and kanji. I'm surprised. Oh no, you've been here a few months, right? Is that why you know?
Yeah. No, I actually opened my company there, and I'm planning to have. I'm planning to be there pretty often now.
Really? That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, nice. I'm surprised about that. No, because but you know about Aladdin. Sorry, let's go back there because I actually today I saw something about Aladdin, you know, this, I can show you the world, you know, and this like carpet.
Hmm.
And I loved Aladdin because I'm Middle East, I'm Turkish. I mean, I was like born and raised in Germany, but out of all of the like Disney princesses, I always like identified with Jasmine because she had darker hair and, you know, so, I just thought about that because I saw that today. Yeah, but that's so cool. So you were always already like going in the direction of like filmmaking. And I think that's so interesting because it shows that you were just following your intuition, you know, because that's kind of how I see the world. Like, I think people always have intuitions, and most of us, we are trained to completely ignore it. And I think you just like went with it, which is really cool. And I love that,
You
I
have to
guess
be
your family
crazy.
supported.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be delusional, completely delusional. I mean, my family
Everybody.
kind of supported in a way, but it didn't. It didn't. It was like, yeah, that's cool. Keep doing that. I love that, but have a plan B. Yeah, but if you want to do that, it's hard, and but you need to have a plan B. It got to a point where my dad was like, okay, you want to do this, then you're gonna fucking graduate. You're gonna go to school for it. You're not just gonna get out of high school and start making videos for YouTube and stuff. Now you're gonna go to Rio, and
Yeah.
my plan was to go to LA, but we couldn't afford. Um, then I went to Rio. I went to college in Rio, and that's it. Like, but they supported it in a sense of like, okay, we got to a point where like, okay, you want to do it. You're gonna actually study this shit. You're not just gonna get out of high school and make videos for YouTube like I was doing.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's so, my parents are also like that. Like, they are supportive, but they're also like, I mean, we're like the same generation, like millennials. I think like that's the kind of parents that we had, their generation. They still believe in the system of
Hmm.
school and university, which slowly it's like crumbling down, and that's a different story. But,
Yeah,
but yeah, kind of
I don't believe
connected
in
to
it
what.
either.
Yeah, no, school is horrible. I mean, I used to be a teacher and kindergarten teacher as well. It's like, yeah, it's not healthy. It's completely, it makes, literally, we grow up not knowing who we are. That's not how school should be. But okay, that's a tangent there. But what was there ever a moment like in your career and in all of the things you've done, where you questioned and you like almost gave up?
Monthly, monthly.
Really?
Couple of days
What?
ago, they have like life is like an independent artist. Life is literally like this. You know, there's a saying from I don't remember who was the actor who said this, but he said that his life, like normal people's lives, are like this, right? Like this. An artist's life is like this, you know,
Yeah.
like ups and when he's up is really up, when he's down is really down. And he was saying like, couldn't I just stay like this in the middle? I don't need to be really fucking happy, but I couldn't like I don't want to be really fucking sad. Can I just be in the middle? And then someone told him, said, "Have you ever been in the hospital?" Yes. How does that heart monitoring thing work? It's like this, right?
Yeah.
What does it happen when it's like this?
You're dead.
That's life. When life is like this,
Yeah.
you're dead. And that's something I
Yeah.
see a lot in Tokyo. And with the movie that I wrote and directed in Tokyo was about that. Because I see so many, I like to call them suit zombies. Because they're people in suits, but they're not alive. They're dead inside.
Yes.
And you see them in flocks every day coming in and out of the train.
Yes.
in Tokyo and everywhere in the world mostly, but in Tokyo it's pretty like strict. So you see visually the zombie horde coming towards you. Um,
Never
and
heard
yeah, I
someone
believe
describe
that
it.
that's it.
Yeah. I've never heard someone describe it like the suit zombies, but it's very accurate because it's kind of like, I mean, I feel like when I'm in the train in the morning and I go to work as well, and you still now more and more companies are a bit more flexible about these things. But mostly still people go in the morning, they come back in the evening, and a lot of companies still in Japan, they are still wearing the suits. You have to go in this formal suit to work, right? Women and men. And like it's exactly what you said. It's like a very visual picture, yeah, of that thing that's actually going on everywhere in the world. But in Japan, it's specifically depressing. And you can tell that people are so unhappy, so overworked, and so I mean, like, I feel like sometimes people don't even have dreams anymore. It's actually quite sad. And I think that's also because
Because
of
they
the
were never
economic.
allowed to they didn't were
Yeah.
never allowed to even let the dreams flourish. So dreams are when you're a kid or a teenager. And I believe that in Japanese culture it's like this is how the world works. This is what you need to do. So forget about anything else and focus on this. So you kind of kill your dream really early on. I believe like in Western culture, they tend to try to kill your dreams when you're a teenager. It's a little harder. Um, so
Oh,
like some people do end up killing their dreams. Actually, most people end up killing their dreams. But I think it's a little harder to kill a teenager's dream because a teenager is a rebel by nature.
yes,
Um, than a kid. A kid's dream is easier to be killed because they are being molded. So I believe in
absolutely.
cultures that allow kids to dream. It's more complicated to kill their dreams, but still, most people still get their dreams killed. Like I'm not saying that in Brazil or Europe or United States, the culture still values the dream. No, it doesn't. But it's harder for you to kill someone's dream when you let them flourish for years until the teenage years. And then in the teenage years, you start showing them the reality of the world and saying, "Hey, that thing that you always dream of, it's not a reality. Kill it." But some of us are rebels, and
Yes.
then we are like, "It's too late."
Yeah, but that whole messaging is so bullshit, by the way, because it's like, no, it is actually that simple. It's like, no, it's not that easy. Well, it is actually that. It might not be easy, but it is that simple. You're just really bitter that you didn't do it in your own life. So I often say to my friends and like everyone that I love in my life, I'm like, that person that's giving you the critique and telling you not to do something, would you ever listen to them in any other, like, would you ever go to them and ask them, how do I have my life? Like, how can I live more like you? If the answer, like, if your answer to that is no, then don't ask them for advice and don't like listen to whatever they have to say about anything, actually anything. Like, I'm one of those people, I'm really intense with this because I was such a rebel and I like went away from home when I was 19 and like I always kind of did what I wanted to do. And like, I always tell people, like, never listen to your parents, except your parents live the coolest life ever and you want to be like them, then listen to your parents. It's similar to that. I feel like it's with everything. Um, I mean, when you say they kill the dreams of like children, I'm thinking like, I feel like it's almost like a blockage. They don't even let you dream. I mean, I don't know about Japan now, but for me, like, I didn't even know what I wanted and who I was. I just knew I didn't fit in some places I did, in some places I didn't. But, um, yeah, it's really sad. It's really depressing.
And
Um,
one of the things I think is very interesting to think is like, would you invite for your podcast someone that they follow the rules their entire lives?
yes, I actually find that super interesting too. Like, I actually have
Really?
yeah, because like, I mean,
Because I wouldn't think that's interesting to because I don't know, that's my point of view. Like I'll be like, where did you get in life following what advices do you have for us or stories do you have for us that were not
you
told
mean
for you before?
Yeah, I see what you mean, but I think I'm so interested in the human condition in general. Like literally I can talk with
Mm.
anyone about anything. I mean, when we met in that anime party, I think we had a great conversation, and I think I'm just like that with everyone, and I can find something interesting in almost any person. That's also why I'm doing this podcast. So I think I would actually invite someone like that, but then I would just be like, why? And how do you do that? And are you dead inside? And how do you deal with that? But like, but it might be less interesting for viewers, maybe. But for me, I think it still would be interesting, but in a different way. Because I'm always like losing my mind every day with different things, you know? Because I'm like, how do people endure the pain of this thing, right? And it's just like suppressing emotion, suppressing emotion. So in that way, I think I'd be interested to have a psychological conversation. You know what I mean? But that's a different story. But Victor,
It's
you
more
said
of
something.
a
Yeah,
research, an inner research for you to understand
yeah,
this
it is.
person than actual entertainment.
Yes. I mean, this is for me too. It's like entertainment, and I want to talk to you, and I want to do also psychological research with you. So one thing I
Mm.
wanted to ask you as well
Fair
is
enough.
like you said, you have to be completely delusional. That's something I hear from like all these successful people say that you have to be delusional. What does that mean to you?
I'll give you an example. Like yesterday, I was trying to figure out this project. I can't say much about it yet. Sorry, but I'm a filmmaker. I look at this light on my face. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ! I'm just trying this. But anyway, that's the quality I have here right now.
It's
Um,
okay.
Sorry, it's just my filmmaker mentality. I'm like, where the shade
Yeah.
here? So anyway, um, yesterday I was like trying to figure out how to pull out this project right now because I have investors interested in it, and but they were like, well, I really want to be part. Like every fucking investor that I talk to, they want to be part of it, but they want to see me doing one first before they get into the project. But I was like, okay, if I do this project in Brazil without the money that I need, the quality that I'm gonna deliver is not the quality that I want. I need a few hundreds of thousands to deliver the quality in Brazil that I need. And then I was thinking, how could I deliver the same quality in a way and call the same attention and call more attention, even more attention to the project than without the money that I'm requiring right now? How am I gonna fucking do it? And then I thought, well, I need to okay, what do I need? First, I need some more. I need something that gives me status for to do this project. And second, I need to shoot in a place that is beautiful. It doesn't matter where I point the camera to; it's beautiful. And it needs to be some. And in Brazil, either I'm gonna shoot the entire project in the nature, or I need to have some of hundreds of thousands to rent mansions and places like that, which I don't have. And the stories that we're trying to deliver did not fit into nature. Um, so I was like, okay, let's where can I shoot this? And I have crews that work with me in Europe as well. So I called my friend from Switzerland and I said, he has a company there, said, hey, remember that we're trying to work together for a while. I have this project. I want to do it now, like in a month. Like we're gonna start in a month. And he said, fuck yeah, let's do it. Then I started to call my crew, the people that work with me, I said, how crazy are you? And everybody started to like everybody already know me, and they're like, not as crazy as you, maybe 75% as crazy as you, but all right. So everybody was like, okay, lay the crazy idea on me, okay? Like I already know how fucking crazy you can get, but I always go even further with that. So yeah, like we are literally planning, like after this podcast I have a meeting about it, to in about a month to be shooting this project that I can't say much about, but shooting this project in Switzerland. um and
Wow.
like the idea came like, okay, how can I make this interesting? Because if I just shoot this in Portuguese in Brazil, it's another Brazilian project shot in Brazil. But if I fly a couple of famous friends of mine to Switzerland, I will have the
Yeah.
entire press talking about this person and this person is shooting something in Portuguese in Switzerland. Um, and then it drags the attention from the investor, from the media, from everything to shoot in Switzerland. So I think you always need to just think outside of the box in the sense of like what can I do that most people would think is so crazy that it's impossible to pull out? Because I was talking to some people and they're like, this is a month away. This is like, we don't have the script
Yeah.
ready. You want to shoot in a month. So I'm like, yeah, I want to shoot in a month. Like, you want to fly famous people from Brazil to shoot in Switzerland. Like, that's how crazy you want to do. Like
Yeah.
my movie in Japan, I had the idea. Like the idea was to shoot a short film. I was in the airport, and then I called Flip, who's my business partner in he lives in Hamamatsu, but in Japan, and I called him and say, Flip, how about we turn this into a feature film so we can sell it? So let's shoot a feature and not a short film in Japan. And he's like, all right, let's fucking do it. I don't know how we're gonna do it. And so I wrote the script on the flight to Japan. It was a 30-hour trip. So I had 30 hours
Wow.
to write a script. First draft, of
What?
course. I remade second, third draft, but I wrote the first draft in
Uh,
30 hours, like during the flight. So it's always like that. How are you gonna do the next thing that everybody thinks is impossible? Because if people think it's impossible, most people won't even try. So if most people don't even try, you don't have a lot of competition because the only people that you're going to compete with are the delusional ones like you. So yeah,
that is
that's
such
how
a
I think.
different angle on that slogan, you know, that you have to be delusional. Then I like the first time I'm hearing this, it's true. It's true. Like most people won't even try. And
Yeah,
yeah, but I thought maybe you're going to say something also, you know, a lot of people talk about like manifestation and like you have to believe it before you see it. Do you believe it when you're delusional, when you're in these delusional ideas or these like I would say you're almost channeling something like amazing that's out of yourself, you know? And then you're like, okay, like I just don't think about you have an idea and then when you know there's a blockage you just kind of find an out of the box way to get to that goal, which I think most people wouldn't even like have the idea to think about in a different way, you know. But yeah, would you say it's like a do you believe it?
law of attraction. Law of attraction,
Yeah, law of
100%.
attraction.
It changed my life. Law of attraction changed my life. The thing is, most people think like, okay, like yesterday when I was having this idea, my level of attracting it to the positive way was like right here because I was on that excited energy. So that's why everybody that I called said yes, because I was also attracting it. I was attracting the people that I needed to make it happen. Um, but one thing that people need to understand is that you're not going to be in that mode 24 hours a day and 7 days a week.
Exactly.
It's impossible for anyone to be positive and happy and excited 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have to understand that it comes and goes in waves. Um, but the thing is, a positive thinking has more power, and it was scientifically proven that it's way more powerful than a negative thinking. So, but a
Absolutely.
negative thinking, if thought with a lot of energy, is very
Yes.
powerful as well.
Yes.
So my idea is always to like, okay, I'm here. I know I'm gonna stay here. I'm not gonna stay here 24/7. You know, it's not possible. I know it's gonna come down. So what I try to do is like, okay, when I know it's coming down, I at least try to keep the bare minimum to make it happen, you know? So, okay, so if I'm starting to be like, fuck, I'm receiving no after no after no after no after no, what I would do,
Spiraling.
I'll I'll send an email or I'll write a page of the script or I don't know, watch something that motivates me or a movie that motivates me or a speech from someone that motivates me. I try to be like, okay, it's coming down. Let's try to get up as fast as possible again, and not give up. So, but it's to understand that because it's not because you can that your energy is down, it's done. Because most people, I feel like they're yeah, it's gonna happen, but we have this, but we have that, but we have that, but and then they get here, yeah, it's not happening. That's the most common things that happen with crazy ideas. Like, fuck yeah, it's gonna happen, but, and then you stay here. But it's like and and so it's try to keep that balance, you know.
Yeah, and like I think you're talking about like riding the wave as well. I think this is the thing. Like I've been studying. I mean, I've been on that law of attraction journey also for like 9 years or something. I would also say it completely changed my life. Um, but something I call it like the law of mirroring. You know, because it's like a mirror. Like the world is a mirror of you. So once you understand that, it's a very powerful truth. But once you understand that, you can literally change your life. But I think sometimes when we look at these like very mainstream teachings of the law of attraction, people take it too easy. Like it's not like just because you thought a positive thought for 5 minutes, now your life is going to be amazing, and then for 5 minutes you thought a negative thought and now you're going to have the worst life ever. Otherwise we would constantly die, right? For people who have anxiety, that would constantly, everybody would die, but it doesn't happen, right? I think it's much, much more complex, and we have we have like belief systems, and, you know, some people might be easier to get oneself out of that depression, or for some people it might be easier to manifest a car because they have less resistance to cars. Some people money might be more difficult. For some people money is not difficult, but love is very difficult, or friendships, you know. So I think it depends, but what you're saying is like riding the wave. It's exactly that. It's like just, you know, like my passion is this, right? I love talking to people, conversation, interesting, like, and like now that I can share that with the world, it's like I'm so happy I can do that. I don't care if it's 100 people listening or like 100 million. Like I would just do the same thing, I assume, and obviously I hope I would be better, but like I I just think that's amazing. But just because I love it doesn't mean it's not going to be shit sometimes, you know? Like, I think some people also are in this like world of like everything has to always feel amazing. Like, no, like that's also not what the law of attraction means. Or, you know, it's like, no, you have something you want to do and you make it happen. And so once you get a no, it doesn't mean you're not supposed to do that. Sometimes I think it can mean that, but I think mostly people like you who are like successful at what they're doing, they're not giving up, and you have a vision and you make it work even though people say no. And you know, sometimes when people say no, like investors, maybe there's a different way of doing it, right? That's actually a new way of doing something and not the old version of the world, which I think we have to get rid of old systems anyways, you know? So I love
And I
how you
think
talk about that. That's, yeah.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree. And I believe that it's in the lowest points that our best ideas come. So the best things come when you're in the lowest, like the best plans, the best ideas. I'll give an example. Okay, okay, we were talking a lot about ideas of projects, but you talked about relationships and personal lives as well. I'll give an example. I now give an example that did not turn out perfect in the end. A relationship that I had, that I had just finished a relationship with someone that I was for 3 years, and I was really freaking depressed. It was one night that I was like, was the first night that I was like, okay, first night in a long fucking time that I was like, I need psychological help. But it was 3 a.m. and then I turned to ChatGPT as a psychologist for the first time in my life. I think all of us at one point did something like that. That was my first time. So I got to that point of like 3 a.m. I need some sort of comfort because I was that sad that that relationship had ended that way. Um, and the very next morning, I was going to be on a rehearsal for my next project, and half the cast was replaced without me even knowing, because many things I still don't know what the fuck happened with that project. But half the cast was different than that I selected. And I was selecting while I was in Japan last year. Um, so I didn't even meet anybody from the cast or anything like that. And at 1 second, I clicked something here and a song started to play. Shit, fuck. Okay, there's something in my earphone my
I cannot
headphone
hear
that
it.
when I click here. No,
Yeah.
I know, but I was listening, and all of a sudden it started to play Jimmy Eat the World here. Um,
It's a sign.
but
It's a
yeah, what
sign.
was the saying? Well, and the song was, it just takes some time, a little bit, everything will be all right. It was literally that song, which is crazy.
It
So
is a
Law of
sign.
Attraction, you know,
Yes, it is.
it
It
was
is.
literally that song was started playing right now. So literally next morning, I arrived at the rehearsal, and then my casting director comes to me and say, "Hey, this happened. We had this issue. By the way, the actress who's playing that character, she's your type." And I'm like, "Don't even begin. Like, no, I'm not into that. You're fucking crazy." And that's just gonna bring me issues, and I'm not in that mood right now. Then I come downstairs, and then my assistant comes to me and say, "Hey, like, well, how was Japan and all that? By the way, the actress who's playing that character now, she's totally your type." And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up, dude. Why do you guys have that? Like, why do you guys talk to each other? What the fuck?" And then I started to do the speech on the first day, and I see this girl sitting on amongst the actors, and immediately I know it's her because she is literally the type of girl that's like I put into my mind that is the perfect girl for me.
Wow.
Long story short, we lived a very intense romantic story to the point of me writing a book about it. It did not turn out to be uh, a happy ending. It did not, but it gave me a hell of an adventure that I never had lived in my personal life before, to the point of me writing a book about it. I never wrote anything about my personal life until that point. So again, so that I want to give this example of like, even though I met someone that was not the one, and it did not turn out to be the perfect person, or the one relationship or all. It was when I was on my lowest, when I thought everything went to shit, that life said, "Hey, there's still more adventure for you here. There are feelings that you never felt. There is an intensity that you never felt before. So the sadness you were thinking that you were feeling about that old person, it's not anymore that old feeling that you were thinking was love. It was just a part of it. Now you're gonna feel what's a even bigger love, and I'm gonna teach you that you were suffering about for something that it was not worth suffering at all, because there are bigger things in life for you to suffer. Um,
Yeah.
and for you to cherish as well, not just suffer, but for you to cherish as well. So
Yeah.
it was. I like to give this
Wow.
example in a sense of like,
Yeah.
we were talking professionally, and yeah, and we constantly work towards our professional goals, but personally, it's not always that we are working towards it. But life, in a way, depending on your mentality, they tend to guide you to those experiences, and sometimes that's all it is. It's an experience that is gonna get you to the next level. Yeah, some people are not the. I was just going to say that some people are not the destination; they are the journey.
Yeah, no, like literally it is that. I literally said that in multiple of my podcast episodes now. Like the journey is the goal. Like there's nothing like, something that I find so annoying about like people's image of romance as well is like we think a relationship, any relationship, let's say a romantic relationship, because a lot of people they relate strongly to this, but like people think a romantic relationship, whether or not that relationship was successful, is if it lasted long. But that's absolute bullshit. Like I have had as well like romantic experiences that were very short and intense, changing my life, and then other ones that were long and were actually less transformative, right? And so that's one thing that I think, yeah. And then another thing is like, this like business or pleasure thing is also kind of old. It's not I think it's an old way of thinking, because like business is your life. The thing that you do is also your life. Even if you're an employee in a company, you're there for 9 hours a day, dude. That's your life, man. Like your colleagues are people you see every day, like the relationships you have in your life. Like, of course they're going to influence your work. It's so bullshit to keep it apart. You cannot keep it apart. You're human. So I think at one point AI robots will take over the world, and then maybe there will not be any emotion when it comes to labor. But right now that's impossible, right? So and one more thing I wanted to say is that for me as well, like my deepest, darkest moments have been the most transformative, like I would say catalysts for my personal change. And so sadly, I think this is because we are raised to endure a lot of pain instead of just realizing when we have a little bit of pain that we can already change. But I think like in our society, we're like, no, you have to be super, super depressed and like in your breaking point, in so much pain that you have to make a change. Like that's when most people make a change, when their bodies are giving up and you have illnesses and like mental illnesses and physical illnesses. That's when most people make a change, which is that's also absolutely crazy. I don't know why we still do that, but I see that's I love that story. And from basically all of the things you're doing, like acting, directing, writing, like which one of those three categories is like your most favorite? Which one do you feel the most authentic in?
It's hard because I hate producing, by the way. Just producing is something I fucking hate. If I could, I would never produce again in my life. I would just focus on the creative part. Because producing is just stress after stress after stress. But I still need to. If I don't, my projects will never, come to life. At least at the point I am in my career. Um, I started as an actor, but I always like to tell stories. So I always thought I wanted to be a writer and actor, but not a director. Always wanted to create the story, and I love creating stories, and I love to portray the characters that I was creating. Um, and the feeling of acting for me, I love that. But then I was thrown into a project that I had to direct, and I realized that I was good at it. Like I could do that and deliver the things that I wanted the way I wanted, and delivering the way I wanted was exactly the right way to do. Um, and being behind the director's chair, seeing that project come to life. Of course, it's not a one man's vision. It's a crew. It's the art director, the cinematographer, the costume designer, the editor, it's the actors. It's everybody's vision. But like being there as the guide to all those people, the link between all the departments, and make that come to life. Um, really, really gives me a lot of pleasure, and I don't know. So I don't. I think right now my priorities are writing, directing, to the same level. Uh, but I love acting the same level. Like I miss acting most of the time. I do act from time to time. I do take an audition from time to time. So career-wise, it's not my priority to be an actor right now. Um,
Yeah.
Funny fact, I auditioned for a couple projects that in my life were like, if I have gotten them, then my life would have be changed completely. I auditioned for Aladdin, from Disney, and
My God.
I I also, yeah. So that's like I was talking about Aladdin in that sense, and I met the guys. I met Ron Clements and John
Wow.
Musker, the creators of Aladdin. I cried like a bitch when they draw the genie for, like, John Musker drew the genie for me. I still have that. Um,
Wow.
so as an actor, that was a hell of an opportunity. Even though I didn't even get close to the finals, I was like one. I was away like way back. I also auditioned for Luffy from One Piece, from a Netflix show. So I was granted opportunities to audition for characters that I really cherish, that I really love, that would be an honor in my life to
Yeah.
to 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 give life to. Like really, if I was Aladdin or Luffy, that would be for me like an amazing world gift. Um, but I did not get him. So, and because I did not get them, I got to direct and write the movies that I did in the past few years. If I haven't gotten Luffy,
Amazing.
I would have be living in South Africa since 2021, working just on that, and I will not be able to create
Yeah.
the stories that I want to tell. So I think life is guiding me more towards directing and writing than acting, even though I still love acting very much, and all that.
Yeah, and you never know. I mean, you might also come back to it for a while and like, and that might be even more successful. You never know, right? Like sometimes there's a timing to things, I feel like a divine timing. Okay, that's very cheesy, but I think it's true. Sometimes something doesn't work in one part of your life and then another time, it might. So I mean, I always wonder about acting. Like I also did theater for 6 years, but it was just school theater. But like for 6 years I did acting in a theater and I loved it, but I hated my teachers. They were so stupid and abusive. And so, how do you feel about acting in the sense that, because I feel like, I don't know, obviously, when you do a movie and like you're a professional actor, it might be different, but when you become these characters, does it not fully, like, we talked about the law of attraction, right? Like, do you not just become that person and like, it must kind of really affect your life, right? Like people change how they talk sometimes after. How did you deal with that?
That's something I work. That's one thing I work a lot as a director. And I give workshops. I was teaching workshops there in Japan, and I thought in Europe. I just came back from Argentina where I was teaching workshops for actors as well. And one of the techniques that I use is based on a guy called Grotowski, uh, that teaches more like physical uh, theater, physical um, how can I say, physical techniques that are you experience the feeling other than you think to portray the feeling. Um, and we have examples of people that live the characters so fucking deep that they never let them go, like Heath Ledger from the Joker.
Yes,
The guy was clearly not trying to kill himself. He was trying to kill the Joker. He was trying to silence that voice inside of him. That he that he let inside him. And it's depending on the project and the character that you are gonna portray, it can be very dangerous. I had experience of directing a scene, kind of, it was not a rape scene. It was an almost rape scene that in the scene that like got cut off, but the character did not know that it was gonna be saved. So in the preparation for that scene, I let the actors go as far as I thought it was respectful enough, but the actors did not know when I was gonna say stop. So it was giving her their anxiety of like, when is he gonna stop? When he gonna is he gonna stop? Is he gonna stop? Is he gonna stop? What the fuck is this crazy director gonna do to give her that anxiety? And then when I saw true fear in her eyes, then I was like, okay, that's it. That's the fucking feeling. Um, and
what? That
but
is so
the
crazy.
but for me to do that, I have a whole process of immersion where I make the actors go within themselves and live themselves, then separate themselves from a character. Then they leave the character, they live the character, they stayed in the character, they live all the experience as the character. Then they go back to nothing, they are nobody, and then they go back to be themselves. So all the experience, so your body doesn't know you're acting. That's one thing. Your body really doesn't know you're acting. So you
Exactly.
have that feeling here, but your mind needs to know and your mind needs to separate those things. So when you come out of a scene, your body can still be shaking and all of it, but your mind needs to be pretty clear. So that's what I do. I get the people there and then I get the people back. So they still shaking, but they're like, I'm fine. And this actress thing, like
Wow.
she disappeared in the middle of the exercise and got back to her life as nothing if nothing ever happened, and she had nightmares. She had panic attacks. She had a true vivid memory as if she got raped, and she never did, um, because she did not trust. And I every time I'm giving a workshop, and every time I'm starting a process with new actors from intense scenes, I tell them if you're not ready for it, don't even try to do it. If you think you're weak in your mind to do something like that, it's okay. You can wait outside. You don't need to do it. Second of all, trust me. If you don't trust me, if you don't follow my directions, the human mind is it's more unknown than the universe. There are things there that I cannot pretend that I know about, and I don't know you, and it's dangerous for me to just like mm, touch that sensitive part of your brain without full trust of you to like let me guide you back. Um, in that case, the actress did not trust me enough to go crazy. Um, so she ended up having aftermaths of that feeling. So I think the biggest
Wow.
thing it's not just the actor, but is the director behind it and the acting coach behind it. Who's coaching you? Who's guiding you? What techniques are they using? And do they know how to use that technique? You know, because that's like I said, you're messing with human minds, and you can mess up a person really bad. There is a woman in Brazil. I'm not gonna name her, but she prepared some of the best actors for some of the best Brazilian movies, and they are fucking amazing. But the way does it, fuck ups people's mind. And I like she truly uses your fears and your insecurities against you. She beats people up. She drowns people in water. She makes people eat food out of the floor and throw up on top of the food and then eat the vomit on top of the. It's like a very
My
crazy
goodness.
fucking technique that,
Yeah.
yes, it deliver in the camera. Everybody's it's some of the best movies and some of the best performances I've ever seen in my life, but how are you as a person gonna come out of that experience? You know?
Wow.
So
I
it's
mean,
all about who's
yeah.
guiding you.
Yeah, but then there has to be trust, but sometimes there cannot be, right? Like, even if I trust you, right? You could still fuck me up, basically. How do you know that? And like, I mean, what does how do you feel about this ethically when you do this? And even if you prepare them and even if you get them out of that in that moment when someone truly feels the fear, do you feel any guilt? Or do you feel any like ethically, morally, do you feel bad about
No,
that?
because because I only get if people only get to that level if I did my job right. If I actually separated the character from the actor. Because if the actor is still there, at least on my technique, not on that woman's technique, because that woman's technique, she actually fucks up the person. So in her, like, if someone is actually with a fear there, it's the person with fear. You're getting the human being there, that actor with fear. In my case, if the person gets there, it's not a person, it's the actor, is the character. Um, the only bad experience that I had in my entire career so far was this one because she left in the middle of it. And I give that example in ever like it was and it's still an example that I use every time to tell people don't fucking do it because it was the only time one time they did it wrong. There was one time in Japan that this actress she was like, oh, I feel a little sick in my stomach and I'm shaking a lot. I don't think I can do this anymore today, but I love the technique. I would love to try again another time, but I don't think I can do it today because my body's too intense and I feel like my stomach it's like I feel sick on my stomach and all that. So I was like, yeah, no. That's it. I told you the body doesn't know you're acting, so you need some time to recover. It's okay. Um
Yeah.
but the only time that people actually got hurt mentally was this one time that the girl did not follow my guidance.
Wow.
Uh, so if I feel guilt when the person is there showing that fear or a hate or anything, no, because I know the person got where I needed her to get, and besides this one time, besides this one girl, every time they got back fine. And they were normally laughing after that and joking and everything. So I knew it was not the actor who was afraid; it was the character who was afraid. And again, there's people
Okay.
that don't even get there. So you're in the same room with one person screaming and crying and in completely despair, and there's someone next to them like, I don't feel shit. So you know it's a very personal thing, and there's some
Yeah.
people that get there, some people don't get there. So you know you're not actually hurting anybody because it's just a person allowed themselves to get to that point as an actor, as a character.
Wow.
When there's someone else next to them, like, nah, I don't feel shit. This doesn't work. different than the other woman that is basically throwing people's on the floor and drowning them, then yeah, of course everybody's gonna feel it. Like there's the story of this guy that broke the other guy's nose with a punch, and yeah, like I was there bleeding and looking at him like, yeah, that's it, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. um
Wow.
so yeah, that's something that I think is unethical to another fucking level.
Yeah.
But what I do, again, I just had
Yeah.
one bad
Yeah.
story,
Yeah.
which
That's
from the past, I don't know, maybe 7 years that I've been using this technique.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought about this, how you have to get the actors there as well. They have to kind of trust you that it's a whole teamwork, I guess. And I think also as an actor or an actress who takes their job very seriously, I see that, that in interviews and some actors, when they get into these, I forgot what it's called, when they take on that role for a long time, even before and after their role. And Lady Gaga, for example, she did that, right, with that Gucci film. But I think that's also maybe something that serious actors take seriously. Like they're like, no, I need to get there. I have to be so deep into it. I find that so fascinating. I mean, yeah, I've never talked to again someone from the film industry like you. I mean, have talked to some filmmakers, but not like this deep and with that kind of technique. It's super interesting. One. I mean, I think two of your like you have this movie. Let Me Go, right? And live stream. And I think both of them kind of talk about like social media, parasocial relationships, empathy. Like, what does that do with you? I was thinking when I did the research on you as well, I was thinking about this thing that happened in Japan. I think this year. I don't know. Did you hear about this? The girl who did a live stream, and during the live stream, she was murdered. And I was
I've heard of
thinking,
a story in Mexico. I did not know about Japan.
yeah, Japan as well. She was like a live streamer, and she was murdered by, I think, a guy who she got money from him and never paid him back, and then he basically killed her while the live stream was filming. I mean, this is really grotesque. But when I was reading about this, your live stream movie or project, um, I was thinking about that, and if that maybe that story or a different story, you said Mexico, like what did inspire you there, and like how do you feel about these parasocial relationships? How do you think like social media impacts our like mental health, you know?
Yeah, that's one thing. Like the live stream is, and again, I think I don't know if anybody who's gonna be watching this watched the movie or researched about the film. There was a big issue with the distribution company of misdistribution. It was distributed as a horror, supernatural. Um, what's the name? Found footage film like Blair Witch. It has zero to do with it. It's a totally different freaking movie. It's more psychology than blood and jump scares. I believe there's one jump scare in the movie, and and the crazy thing is that when I directed that scene, I didn't even thought of as a jump scare. It just became a jump scare, and you have one scene with true blood in a whole freaking movie. So it is not a movie for that type of audience, and the distribution company made a huge mistake on trying to label that to try to attract people and attracted the wrong audience to it. But some people that got attracted, and by the way, we're trying to solve that now with a re-release of the movie, like releasing it correctly to the right audience.
Nice.
Um, and but there are some people that touched the exact subject. Some critics on Rotten Tomato, they touched exactly the subject that you want to mention now, which is the base of the film, which is exactly the relationship between the audience and the people on the other side of the screen. And because I've been working on the internet for the past 15 years, and I think I'm actually happy that I did not become massively famous like my friends, because I was able to observe what fame and exposition did to them, um, and how it affected their lives and how the behavior of the fans affected their lives. And I've always thought, like, I've always wanted to tell the story. Like the first movie I directed in the United States was a short film called Thumbs Up. that never got released because the freaking guy they saved only one copy on the hard drive, and the hard drive got corrupted. I still got the hard drive right there. It's right here, but I can't fucking get the footage. And the story was a story about this influencer, again, back in 2016. So we were trying to tell the stories about how social media fucked you up
Yeah.
9 years ago.
Wow.
Was a story about this influencer who's feeling pressure of this audience, and then he tries to commit suicide. You know, and he's trying to find a real bond in life. So I was always fascinated about that, in a sense of like I want to tell the stories of people that live this daily because I'm around them, and I can tell with property what I see behind the scenes. And live stream, like the first glimpse of like I want to do this was when this influencer slash singer called Christina Grimmie got murdered by a fan in the United States, and I followed her. I was not a huge fan, massive fan, but I followed her. I like her music. She was a great singer, um, but it really affected me. Like when I saw that, even though it was
Oh,
not someone that I followed, like I was a big fan of. It really, really, truly affected me in a very intense way because I was like, this girl could be my friend, could have been my friend. She could have been one of the influencers that I work with daily, that I live with, and she was there in a meet and greet with for fans, and then this guy just came with a gun and killed her right there, like John Lennon type of way. But she's an influencer, and then I was like, I need to write something about this, and then I wrote, okay, movie about influencer and relationship with fans and toxic relationship and all that. So live stream came to life as that, and then I was thinking, how do I do this without being just another film about just another either slasher film, which was not a slasher film, but it looks like a slasher film, or just a drama about this. And then I was like, hey, I'm gonna do a live stream. It's a one take film. The whole thing is like live streamed from the beginning to the end, no cuts, and it's self-filmed, and then we're gonna have the chat room like rolling 20 like during the entire film with hundreds of thousands of comments, and we're gonna read those comments with people saying, yeah, die motherfucker, I never liked you before, or oh, this is fucking fake, yeah, this is just a prank or something like that. Things that,
wow.
and one of my biggest concerns was like I need to make the the chat look real. So there are racist, homophobic, all types of wrong fucking things you can imagine on that chat. Uh, because that's how a real chat in the industry, in the internet, behaves.
Yeah.
To filled with fucked up people there
Yes.
interacting with
Yes.
you. So I needed that to look so fucked up. So the movie, it's a double experience. It's what's happening on the screen and what's happening on the chat. Uh, and I tried to make the story very linear, very simple, not a lot of plot twists, so people could go back and forth and understand both of them. So it's not like the story is not something like, oh my god, that's such a different story. I never seen anything before like this. No, it's like
Yeah.
people dying, and us trying to figure out who's killing them. Uh, but that's live, and then the audience is reacting to it. Uh, and there's no empathy there. There's zero empathy on the freaking chat. Um, People are just dying in front of them, and they're like, "Yeah, this is the best live stream I've ever watched in my life." Um, so I wanted to tell that story in an interesting way. So live stream was my way to talk about that relationship and how much exposition makes you vulnerable to danger, and that also there is a moment that, like, I remember some people commenting like, oh, the beginning of the film, they look like totally different people, like they're very exaggerated, the acting is really bad. And I'm like, yeah, because they're fucking influencers acting to a fucking screen. They are trying to be. Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, this is so cool. Yeah, we're gonna go now. We're gonna go do some s'mores and light up a fireplace, and this is it. And then when people start dying, then they go, "Fuck, wait, but what's happening now?" So I wanted to give that duality of like people are faking the internet. This is not reality. This is not how the people actually talk. This is not how. This is
Yeah.
not real life. If you're watching
Yes.
on a streamer, it doesn't matter if it's live stream or not. It is fake. It isn't. It's an act. It is. It
Yes.
doesn't matter how much the influencer says this is who I am. This is I'm not. No, there is a level of like I want this to be interesting for the audience. So
Yes.
they are not 100% themselves ever. So I wanted to bring all those subjects within the same movie and do live stream, and that's one of the reasons why I want to re-release it to the right audience because it's not a slasher film. It's not a horror film. You should not
Yeah.
leave it scared or with jump scares. You should
Yeah.
leave the movie thinking, "Fuck, humans are fucked up, and the internet is even more fucked up."
I mean, yeah, and I think that's why I enjoy podcasts specifically as well, listening, because I feel like those are the most authentic conversations that currently are on the internet. Like, when you look at old school interviews with celebrities, for example, and then you see the same celebrity now in 2025, um, on a podcast, it's so much more real. Of course, you never know, okay, how much is real, right? Like, how much are they acting? But I think the interesting thing about that is like I'm currently fully authentic. It doesn't matter if you believe that or not, right? But at the same time, it's just a part of me. It's not all of me. I'm not going to show everything, whatever that means. Does that mean someone is fake? It could mean someone is fake. But what you just said there with the exaggerated, like typical YouTuber kind of influencer kind of thing, I absolutely know what you mean. I find that so interesting. Yeah, when I did the research as well, I saw horror and then later I saw thriller. I was like, wait, what does this mean? Now you're explaining it actually. But one question I want to ask you, because you're also around those, like,
Rotten
yeah,
Tomatoes is still horror, and it still has the
ah,
freaking wrong. If you read the log line on Rotten Tomatoes, it doesn't make any sense. It says a group of YouTubers go on a haunted house challenge, and they got start getting killed by something that they don't know. I'm like, this is not my movie. This is not my fucking story. And if you go on Letterbox, we asked them to change. So the ones on IMDb and Letterbox right now are the correct ones. Just so just to let it
okay, so everyone
clear.
who sees this knows it's not a horror, which is good to know because I want to watch it and I cannot watch horror. I can hardly watch, I told you before, is I can hardly watch like anything that's even comedy and has like comedy horror. It's already too much for me. I'm very sensitive. What would you say is the worst effect that fame has on people, has on the famous person?
They completely lose the sense of what's real and what's not.
In what way?
They in every single way. First, they never know you never know who actually is your friend and who's not, who's trying to get something from you, who's not, who's using you for attention and who's not. Second, you really don't understand how a normal life is anymore. So I know people that are completely out of the world in a sense of like, uh, yeah, like everybody's talking about this. No, I haven't even heard of it. No, 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 but everybody's talking about this, you know? No, and people in your niche are talking about that. People that follow you, those 2 million people out of 8 billion are talking about this. It is not the world right now. It's not a very current issue in the world right now. Oh my god, my life got destroyed. Everybody's talking about me cheating on my boyfriend or my girlfriend. My life is destroyed. Did you? I didn't even hear about that. Every website, every gossip page is talking about that. No, okay, so a couple of gossip pages, maybe 3 or 4, are talking shit about you. And from those people, there are a couple of 100,000 people talking shit about you, which is a lot of people. It's enough to fill like 3 or 4 soccer stadiums, which is a lot of fucking people. I agree with you, but that's not it. Like only in Brazil, there's 250 million people. like just in one country,
True.
250 million people. So this is like, okay, if there's 200,000 people talking shit about you, that's not an entire country. Um, so they get out of the reality of like first, who is actually my friend, who is not, who's trying to get something from me, who's not. This is very intense because it is true. Like, and it is really hard to become friends with influencers because I feel like they never trusted you, and it's really rare for them to trust you, and when it's really rare for them to be there for you as well. So because like I rarely ask for favors from my influencer friends, but when I do, I feel like they're like, why are you asking me things? Like, motherfucker, you've been asking
Ah,
me things for the past 10 years. Now I've asked you one thing and you're like, why am I asking you something? So they are always like, why are you
paranoid.
asking me this? Why are you asking me for, yeah, they're kind of paranoid
Yeah.
in that sense. No
Wow.
matter how much I gave to them, they are, when I ask
Yeah.
something for them, it is like, you were using me the whole time. You were always there for my money, for my fame, or for something like that. And the second is that like they don't understand how the world actually works. That like and this is another level. Like there's people that become famous so early on they never got a day job. They never had to get public transportation. They never this and that and that. So they go to the and there's this whole niche of people like, oh, if you keep posting on the internet, you're gonna become a millionaire. All you need to do is this and post 20 times a day, and you're gonna become a millionaire. And like, yeah, how the fuck do I do this if I spend 9 hours in my job and 3 hours in traffic every day? Okay, so this is my reality. Oh yeah, if you invest 100 reals or like $20, $30 a month in ads, you're gonna have this and you're gonna have that. That's 10% of my what's left on a month for me. That's what I spend for food and gas.
Yeah.
um and most people they lost the complete reality of like what's because all of a sudden for them to post one video and I include myself in a way in this, not 100% because I for me was I think was great for me it took a long time for me to actually start seeing good money, like a long fucking time for me too. So I've been through shit like I slept on the street in LA. I went through from couch to couch. I've been through all that shit. I had to get 3 hour transportation. Sometimes I didn't have money to for the bus. So I lived that real world experience. In a way, I think that was great for me to see a little bit of the real world before I started to make some good money. But there's some people that all of a sudden one story, they charge $5,000 for one story. So when they go to the grocery store, they see something that is cost $2,000. There's like that's less than a half of a story. I'll pay $2,000 right now. Um, so they got detached of what's the world, what's the real world. What's normal, and then I'll put like a big quote and like in between this normal people. Again, not saying that influencers and famous people are not normal. They are. I was saying like
Yeah.
ordinary day life, day job people,
Yeah. Like a
they go
disconnect,
through the salary
like a
man.
parallel reality, maybe, you know?
It is a
I
parallel
think it
reality.
prob
They live in a totally different world. So yeah, it is a totally different world. Yeah, and if the internet ends today, they don't even know how to fucking behave. They wouldn't, you know. They wouldn't even know how to
yeah.
behave, and this is really sad in a way. Um, so yeah, I think fame affects that. I could stay an hour here talking about ego. Yeah, of course, there's ego. There's some people that becomes fucking assholes and treat you like shit. But that like everybody talks about that shit, and it's not everybody. So a lot of people still are a lot of very humble and very nice. But I think those main two things it is something that is not their fault. You know, they
Yeah.
do become paranoid about what people are trying to get from me because a lot of people are trying to get something from them. And the other
Yeah.
thing is the reality disconnect because all of a sudden their world becomes totally different than the rest of the world's life.
Yes.
So it becomes their reality, and it's hard for them to understand that there is a totally different reality from their reality.
Yeah, and they're like kind of a minority, right? I mean, there are a lot of famous people, but there's many more people who are not famous, who are not rich, who are not living that life. So I see how that could be disorienting, I guess. And especially if you're there since you're a child. I mean, you know, this famous thing of Michael Jackson being like renting a whole supermarket just to go grocery shopping. And for him, it was like one of the best feelings in his whole life. And later, after his death, there were a few people who came out who were his secret normal friends, like this lady in the South somewhere, I believe, who nobody ever heard of her. And she was one of his best friends. And he just had this very normal kind of, he tried to have like a grasp on normalcy. And that's so sad because I feel like what you're explaining, the paranoia and all that stuff, it kind of all boils down to me as well on like broken relationships. Like if you're like, we're literally social animals. Like I know people want to pretend they're independent. You cannot be as a human independent. Like literally we depend on everything. Right now we're having this conversation because I have a laptop that someone built in China and I have a camera that someone built in China or wherever, right? Like someone, like we depend on each other. So if you're all alone, like, man, that must be so painful. I mean, you know, I cannot imagine, like, you would have to have strong relationships and family in your life if you're famous. Otherwise, like, I see why it destroys people, you know? From the outside, I've no idea. I've never wanted to be famous, even though I'm doing this now. That's one thing I've actually never wanted, like, maybe for like a 10-minute experience, you know? 10 minutes, be Taylor Swift for 10 minutes, but then never. Oh my God, I would be so paranoid, you know? And yeah, I don't know how people handle.
You need to be very strong mentally to handle this because, like, I go through this in a very small version of it. Because like I've I have less than 30,000 followers. I have 29,000 followers on Instagram. And of course, our lives are connected through mostly social media and Instagram. So when I meet someone, I'm like, hey, follow me on my Instagram. Here it is, my Instagram. So I've noticed that many times people clicked on my Instagram, like, oh wow, like you have followers. Oh no, my God, Netflix. This is so like the way they change is like, wow, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a totally different person for this person right now. Like so because they looked at my social media, I become a different human being for them. And yeah, imagine if you have millions of followers. That's even if I go through that, people with millions of followers, it's even more
And
intense.
then another thing is that because we see these big numbers all the time, I mean, I'd opted literally out of social media for more than 8 years. So I like hated how Instagram made me feel. And I had only like 500 followers and see, I use that word again. It's not only, this is the other thing. Like I kind of like feel like it's so sickening. Like everything is sickening about it. Even the positive content. It made me question my own life. Like maybe my life is not cool enough. Maybe I'm not beautiful enough. All of these things. So once I deleted it, I never looked back at it. I had some, I personally met people who were famous, and I could also see how that kind of like affected them. And like, but what I wanted to say about the numbers is like, we think because like, I don't know, some Kardashians have like large numbers of followers on social media. We think that's the large number, but like now on my small YouTube channel, and I have like, let's say 100 views on a video, I might think that's not much, but have you ever thought about that? Like 100 people are watching this right now. Like imagine them
It's a
in the
full
same room,
theater.
or imagine, 1,000 people in the same room. Like that's crazy. We think about these large numbers as if it's nothing. No, I mean like that's so sick. That in and of itself is like not reality, man. Like that's why I love that you're right now with your parent. Oh, I assume with your parents or family, and you're just getting a break from LA. Like I mean, I've been to LA once only, and that was cool, but like I couldn't do that, man. Like I couldn't live there. I
It
mean, I know you
is
don't
an
live there.
intense city. It's the city of hope and dreams and the city of broken dreams.
Yes. When I was there,
LA is
something that
it's a
really,
dangerous city.
yeah, and it's something that really shocked me about LA is like everybody is so fake. Like I use this word with caution. Like, I think there's reasons why people might be fake. Sometimes I'm fake on purpose to guys who are hitting on me because I want to stay safe, right? There's different reasons why people can be fake. But I feel like the specific fakeness in LA is like the way that everybody talks is like made for on camera. And it's like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
it's so weird. It was.
It's what do
It
you
was
do before what's your name? They always ask what do you do before what's your name. That's LA.
really, that's so crazy.
That's normal. What do you do before what's your name? It's always because they want to know what they got, what I'm gonna get. You just say I'm a Uber driver. People are like, I'm not gonna get anything from you. And even if you say I'm a film director or an actor, really, have I seen you in anything? Have I seen something that you've done? It's always like, have you? Those are like almost like a guidebook how to talk in LA. Oh, really? Have I seen something you've been in? Have I seen something you directed? If you say no, oh, just small projects, they're gonna be like, all right. It's always like that. Just you know, I spent basically 10 years in LA, and I had one relationship that lasted 2 years. And granted, this relationship was dead after the first year. We remained together for another year for comfort. It is a city that is very complicated for you to have any type of human relationship at all. Friends, like I have maybe 5 or 6 friends from 10 years there that I can say they are my friends. And yeah, that's maximum I made there. And I met hundreds and hundreds of people there. But friends, real friends, I can say
Yeah.
maybe 5 or 6 maximum.
That's already a
That I
lot, by the
had
way.
there.
That's a lot though,
Yeah,
like
but
5 or 6
even
friends.
those
Yeah.
even those friends I barely see because our lives are so fucking crazy. So like I have 5 or 6 people that I consider friends, but I I think there was okay from last year, uh, which was the last because I'm not coming back to LA this year. I have things are not good there right now to go back. Um, last year I had 2 people that I really hanged out with. One turned out to be a very complicated person. That is not my friend. It was just a very complicated person. And the other one is my business partner who's my best friend, and that's it. All the other friends that I like for I spent 6, 7 months there straight in LA. I think I saw these other friends 2 or 3 times in 6, 7 months. So, okay, one friend, like there were like 2 people that I was hanging out with constantly in LA. One turned out to not
Yeah.
be a real friend. The other one is my business partner. All the other ones I saw maybe 2 or 3 times throughout 6 months period, 7 months period.
Damn.
So this is LA. This is Los Angeles.
So it's also when I was there, I felt the energy because I like to look at the collective consciousness of the energy wherever I am at. And when I was in LA, I felt like it was the city of dreams, as you said, and the city of broken dreams. And then I also felt this feeling of darkness. That was a bit scary to me. So I didn't feel too much into that because I was like, I would rather not, I would just rather enjoy and then leave again. But there's some darkness about that place, man. Like not as dark. I found New York more scary actually. For me, like the US in general I felt the safest in Texas, dude. Like when I tell this to people,
Really?
they're like, what? Yeah, I don't know. Like for me,
Where
like
everybody has a
Houston,
gun?
yeah.
Where
And I was
everybody
like,
has a gun?
yeah, I was like, this is cool. I felt nice here. And I don't know, somehow I liked actually Houston. I didn't mind it. But for me, yeah, it was not for me. Um, we don't have that much time. Sorry, we're already so much. But I wanted to ask you as well, like, what's like a myth about filmmaking? Like something that people assume is real, but it's not real, or it's not the way that people think. Or is there anything that comes to mind?
Many, many myths, but let me try to think of something that could actually make sense to people. Um, oh, there's one thing that Tom Holland said. No, it wasn't Tom Holland. Was it? Who was it? Was Daniel Radcliffe? Daniel Radcliffe. That said, he said, and when I saw that, I was like, fuck yeah, that's it. He nailed it. And it was really funny because he was starting saying it like, of course, from my point of view, it's a totally different thing. Like I started in a different career. I started on Harry Potter when I was fucking 10 years old. So for me, it's different. But for most people, this is the reality. And he nailed it. He said, everybody thinks that in this career, you're always looking for the next bigger project. So you're like, You do this, and you need to do something bigger, and then you do something bigger, and you do something bigger, and you do something bigger, and you keep climbing like that. You climb the ladder until you keep doing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's always like this. So I just did, I don't know, a show for let's say uh Paramount Plus that got 1 million views. Now I need to do another one from Prime Video that's gonna get 10 million people, and then I need to do a Netflix one that is gonna get 100 million views, and then I'm gonna go to Marvel, and then I'm gonna be a Disney prince, and then it's always like that. They believe that it's like a linear growth,
Yeah.
and it's not. It is not like that. It's like that. It's crazy. It's like, okay, I just did a project that was very successful. Now the only opportunity that shows up is this small indie film that is shot in Georgia that is gonna go for TVOD, and then I might have an appearance on this big show for 2 episodes, and then I might go back to do another indie film, and then I get a part on Marvel that has one movie, and then I do another a small show on Apple TV, and then it doesn't have the growth like that. The same way, like my first film as a director was #1 on Netflix. How do you go from that? Like
Oh, that
honestly,
was your first one?
as a
Oh,
director it was. So my
wow.
first feature film was #1 on Netflix in Brazil and #6 worldwide non-English speaking movie. So all of a sudden I have this pressure of like your next film needs to be fucking huge. And then I do live stream, which has nobody on the cast is famous. But I'm like, well, I think the story is good. I think it can be huge. And then we have this problem with the distribution and that made the movie n- distributed for the wrong audience, and it did not reach the many people that we want.
Yeah.
Um, so we're trying to, but it's still, I honestly think the live stream is not gonna have been unless for some god miracle, I don't know, a big director or producer or actor shares that shit and it goes viral. It's not gonna be as big as Trended. It's not. It's not. It doesn't have the famous cast. It doesn't have the timing that he had. It's a different project, and it's okay to be. Then I'm doing live streams coming out and it's coming out in what, 5 days now, 4 days on October 3rd on Prime Video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so maybe when this airs, the movie's already out on Prime Video.
Yes, it will be.
Um, it will be, so everybody, if you are not in the United States or English speaking countries, get a VPN and go watch Let Me Go.
Yes.
Um, so
Yeah, everything about
we don't know
Victor, by
how
the
it's
way,
gonna do.
guys. Yeah, it's all in the description. Sorry to cut you off there, Victor. But does that make you feel sometimes like does that make you feel like you failed or something? Like how do you feel with that? How do you deal with that feeling? Like did I fail now because my first project was this big Netflix thing and then now I'm actually doing something smaller over here? How do you deal with that like as a
Yes,
human?
100%, 100%. Like I feel like when I was really funny because like the first critic for Let Me Go for live stream was really fucking good, and I'm like, thank God it's gonna do good. And then people started, then they came to a lot of negative comments like, this movie is trash. I did not get scared, and I'm like, why do you think why would you think you would get scared? Like, yeah, this is not a good slasher film. Who said it was a slasher film? Like, oh, the actors are really bad. The acting is really fake. Do you understand they're fucking influencers? And then I'm like, and then I started to go like, what the fuck is going on? And and then I went on websites where they were, and I read the fucking log line and the whole genre and everything. I was like, what the actual fuck is going on here? This is not my movie. What they're trying to sell. This is not live stream. This is not. It's like I bought a burger and it tastes like chocolate. So that's
Of
what the audience is
course.
feeling. They were expecting for burger and they had chocolate,
Of
and they're
course.
lactose intolerant for some reason. So so I'm like, so yes, I got really frustrated when that started to come out. I was like, this is not, but thank God I saw some critics that nailed it. They understood it. and they are the main ones from Rotten Tomatoes and the big ones. And I'm like, these guys understood it. Like these guys were they actually watched the film, and they nailed
Amazing.
it on the critic. That this is what I'm. So the critics understood. The audience that is being reached did not. Most of them did not understand. Uh, and it did frustrate me. I was like, yeah, I failed. But the one thing that calmed me was when I had the meeting with the producers, and everybody was like, Victor, it's not the movie. The issue is not the movie. The issue is the audience that is being reached and how it's being sold. So you have to be okay with that. But I also had to make peace with the fact of like this movie might never get the distribution that it deserves, and it might never reach the audience that it should reach, and that's okay. But what we do is like we just keep releasing. I'm releasing Let Me Go, then I'm releasing the Silent One, which is then is a horror. Silent One, it is a horror. Then I'm releasing Speak Up, who's a teenage musical. Then I'm releasing Akira Metara, who's the Japanese movie, who's a romantic drama. So I'm like, I just keep moving forward with different genres, with different
Yeah.
stories and different. This is what I have to do. I just
Yeah.
have to keep.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, I was talking to a friend of mine that she's like, Victor, you have a lot of projects coming out. It's okay for you to not direct a feature film in 2026. And I'm like, no, I need to direct a feature in 2026 because I directed one in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. I directed like the one in 2019. 2019. I didn't even sign the directing because it was another director. The guy disappeared, and then I joined, and it's trash. So I did not sign. But technically, I directed 7 movies, one
Yeah.
every year for the past 7 years. So I have that mentality of like, okay, next year I need to direct that. Like, when is gonna be my feature film next year? And just like, Victor, you still have other 4 films to come out. Like you have movies coming out next year, even if you don't direct a movie. So it is okay for you to chill down right now and not look for the next big thing right now. But
Is
this
that just how
this
you
is an
work?
artist's life.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, do you have to force yourself to be that way, or is it just does it just come naturally? Because I feel right now
Comes
in
naturally.
my own journey with this podcast, I'm so passionate about it. Like, for me, it's like 100 people watched it. I'm so motivated. Like, I'm just obsessed, and I'm interested in almost every human. I'm just that genuinely interested in people. So I'm like, okay, who can I talk to? Like, how can I do? So I just like want to do it, and I have a full-time job on the side, right? On the side, like my full-time job is my main job, but this is like my main passion right now. So I just keep going. I'm just having so much fun. Is it like that for you, or is it like you don't know how to stop, and like sometimes you want to, but are you anxious to, or like how is that with you?
I don't know how to stop. I really don't know. Like even when I'm in vacation, like I said, I went to Japan to give a few workshops. I ended up directing a feature. Like so.
Wow.
I really don't know how to stop. I'm a workaholic. I really don't know how I'm constantly like I'm right now. Just so you know, right now I'm re-releasing live stream. I don't know when and in which platform, as I'm re-releasing live stream. Let Me Go comes out October 3rd. Then I have Uh, Let Me Go. Like, I have the Silent One coming out later this year, which is the horror. Next year, I have Speak Up, which is the musical and the Japanese movie Akira Metara. I have one book coming out of the Comic Con in São Paulo, 2 comic books coming out of the Comic Con in São Paulo. Um, I'm writing 2 books at the moment. One about my life, that real story that I told you, and another one that is a fiction. Um, and in parallel to all of that, I'm directing vertical shows. So this is where I am right now. Like I can't
Yeah.
I simply cannot stop. I'm like doing
But
different things at the same. Yeah.
how do you function? Like, do you like for me? I obviously my life is not as busy, but I do try to like meditate, or I do try to sometimes just stare at a wall, or just, something that calms me down a bit. And I drink my matcha, for example. That's like my little moment that I have almost every day. Do you have anything like that? Do you do that?
I depends on the place. Uh it depends on the place. For example, I'll give an example of Tokyo that you live there, so you know it well. But I had days that I'm like, I'm just gonna walk. So I started walking on the streets, listening to music. Or I went to Shinjuku Gyoen and I stayed at the Gyoen for like an hour, just listening to music and just chilling there. Or I just went after a really nice restaurant to get some ramen or some katsudon, and that's it. So I give myself these street moments, and when I'm in Europe, same thing. Like I take some time to just go to a museum or go to, like to watch to see some nice spot, and to watch the sunset somewhere and listening to music. So and in LA, my favorite place was the Santa Monica Pier. So I constantly went to the Santa Monica Pier, stay there and listening to music and watching the sunset. So it depends on the place. There are places that unfortunately I don't have that, like São Paulo, here in Brazil. I don't have that. It's called the Stone Jungle. They call the city the Stone Jungle because it's buildings buildings and buildings and buildings and buildings. There are some parks, but I don't like them. So over there, my time off is basically going to the movies. I go watch a movie or I stay home watching Netflix and that's it. I wish I wish I could go back to meditating. I try to go back to the gym constantly, but
Yeah,
I'm really lazy with the gym, unfortunately. Like I stay for a couple
I
months
feel
and then I
you.
stop and then I go back. But
I feel
yeah, I
you.
should actually try to take care of my mental health a little better in that matter. I try to. Um, but unfortunately, I'm anxious to that point. I'm my brain is working in 10 different projects at the same time.
Yeah, but do you feel sometimes because you move around so much? Because I don't know if you know about this about me, but I used to be a cabin crew, like a flight attendant. So when
I
I
didn't
was a
know. Nice.
yeah, for Emirates Airline, do you know? And I was in
Yeah, yeah.
I was based in Dubai, which I hated Dubai, but I wanted to do that for a while, for a short while, and I did that. 2 years was already too long. But when I was a flight attendant, I felt like I lived nowhere. I lived in a plane, and I was everywhere all the time. So for me, um, I had like I have my best friend. She lives in London, but like we always kept in touch. If I didn't have her, I would have like died of loneliness. I mean, how do you feel lonely sometimes doing this lifestyle?
I do. I mean, depends on yeah. Um, depend for São Paulo. I do feel lonely a lot in São Paulo. It's a really big city. The people that I call friends there have normal jobs and they live far away, so I barely have time to go out with friends there. When I'm there filming, then I don't have time to to do anything else. But when I'm there just for business, yeah, I stay home basically, or go to the movie
Yeah,
theater. So yeah, I think it's one of the places that I feel the loneliest. Um, Thank God I have friends in most of the places that I go to. Like I have friends in Tokyo now. I have friends in Europe. I have friends in LA. I just been in Argentina now, and to Argentina was so good because I have so many friends there. Because I directed three Spanish speaking shows. So all the actors are from there. Uh, Even my ex girlfriend is from there. So like I know so many people there in Buenos Aires. So like every day I was going out with friends every single day um,
nice.
while I was there. So it depends on the place, depends on the time. But the in São Paulo is a place that I feel really lonely. But from time
Yeah,
like I remember that early this year in February I was in Switzerland and I was there with some friends and at their house in Switzerland. And then we had this amazing reunion and where I cooked Brazilian food for everyone and it was so beautiful, it was so nice. And then the next morning, I was talking to this friend of mine. I was like, "It's really funny because I feel part of your group at the same time I'm not, uh, because I'm that visitor. I'm that guy that jumps from timeline to timeline in people's lives. Like you have your timeline here, this person has their timeline here, that person has their timeline there, and I'm jumping from timeline to timeline. Right now, I'm here in your timeline. Then I'm gonna go to São Paulo. I'm gonna be the São Paulo timeline, and then I'm gonna go to Buenos Aires. I'm gonna be the some Buenos Aires timeline. So I'm that guy that doesn't have his own family in a way, his own house, his own home. And that's one of the things I talk a lot in this book about my life, because that relationship was short, but it was very intense. Because there was one thing she told me that really touched me, and she said, "I'm your home now," and that was one thing I did not expect to listen to. Um, I don't know if you watch anime.
Actually, no, but I used to a little
Okay,
bit. But
no, because
um,
there's one sentence from one show that they say that, and it reminded me that moment, and that was the moment that I realized, my home is not a place, it's a person, and
yes,
that's when I realized that I was like, my home is a person, it's not a place. And yeah, from time to
100%.
time, it comes to me like that. Like, yeah, I'm just jumping from people's timelines to people's timelines, and
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't have a home in a way as well.
Yeah, and but you know what? Like I have always felt that way my whole life, even because I was Turkish immigrant girl born into Germany. Of course, I could have never felt home there. Like everything I am is the opposite of Germans, even though my accent is quite German. But so I never felt home anywhere except for in Japan because it was my home of choice. But I have to say though that the older I get, so I'm 31 now, but I feel like now in my 30s, I feel more like I arrived somewhere. And you know where I arrived? It's obviously I arrived back in Japan because I love Japan. It was a choice for me to. I moved here now for the third time. Okay, like I have a love affair with Japan that never will end. Okay, I want to die in this country, but at the same time, like the thing I'm coming back to is like my home. I'm coming back to are my people, and so my whole year 2025 has been about building strong, real relationships. And I literally had a moment like that with my partner today. Like we live together and I say that to him all the time. I'm like, you're my home. Like you're my person. Like, and then same thing with my friend, my best friends. I'm like, they are my home. Like there's nothing, everything else is an illusion. I mean, nothing matters but connection at the end of the day. Okay. This is cheesy, but it's true. It's like nothing matters. And people who travel a lot, like I did and you are still, you realize this quickly, right? You realize you kind of feel in and out. So if you can find someone, I don't know if this is something you want, but I wanted to when I was a flight attendant for 2 years. I was like, I just want someone with me going through life together. There was a goal that I had. There was a specific thing I wanted to achieve. And now I did achieve that with my partner. So like we are doing everything together and like, not everything, but you know what I mean? Like
Mm.
just experiencing
Yeah,
life
yeah.
together. Like, what is this? Like, if I experience something and I cannot share it with anyone, was it even real? Like it's like you realize after a while, like you just want to like have that deep connection and intimacy. And intimacy, I don't mean only sexuality, just like intimacy. Like, see into me, I see into you, right? Like, I hear you, I see you, I understand you. Like, yeah. So before we stop,
Yeah, it doesn't matter how high you are in your career or anything. If you don't have anybody to share it with, it's kind of empty. And there was sorry, just one last thing. There's one moment that I lived that I was like, I rented this amazing apartment, beachfront, in like in New Year's. Um, Most beautiful thing, like I was in the best moment of my career. Like I was coming out of the set for a break, and then I was gonna go to another set in 3 4 days. So I was like in the top of my career, and I was there with someone in that place. And I remember looking at that person in that near to the window with the view, and it was so empty because that person was not sharing life with me, was just a person that clearly didn't, you know, was there for me for real. And I was like, it doesn't matter that I'm here in this moment and we're spending money and all that, that if I can't share a true connection. So I think you remember that you were talking about like you asked me about also the myths of the industry and all that. I think that's like if you don't have true connections, it doesn't matter how high you climb in this industry as well, you're gonna fall. Thank God I have amazing friends, and my business partner is like my brother to me. I have friends that, like I said, I can call friends in all these different places in Switzerland and Japan and all that, people that I call like my local family. And if I did not have that, the fact that I would travel the world, it would mean shit. The fact that I was going to jump from set to set, it would mean shit. So having those people is the most important thing. It doesn't matter how much money you're making or how many people are watching your movie or your project. If you don't have those connections while you go in the journey, it doesn't mean shit.
Exactly. Literally. Literally. Nothing to say there. 100,000% agree. I love how you said that. Well, before we stop, I have one more section where I start this from now on. Like, this is the first time I'm doing this, but I wanted to do this with you.
Oh,
Is like rapid fire. Okay. So you have to answer quickly, just like maybe just 1 or 2, 3 words. And on short
yeah.
questions I have. Okay. A film that everyone should watch.
I'll say two. Kimi no Na wa and A Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
I love Kimi no Na wa. That's actually an anime I did watch. Okay. The second
Yeah,
one I don't know. Oh no.
yeah.
I love that movie. You know the music as well? That sad song, the guy with the oh my god, I cry every
Yeah,
time. I love it.
the guys who made the Red Lamps, they're amazing. The soundtrack.
Yes. Okay. Number 2, one writing tip for people who listen.
Just start writing. Don't think too much. You just make it. It doesn't matter how bad it is. Just write it and then you polish later. That's it.
That's very valuable, yeah. One misunderstanding that people have about you.
Fuck, misunderstanding people have about me. Uh, I'm pretty shy actually. People think that I'm pretty outgoing, and I actually consider myself pretty shy. So people when they discover that I'm like more of a intimate, like like still stay alone, watching TV for a long time, and I'm not the type of guy that would go in a bar and talk to random people easily. They get shocked. People are like, "Oh, I thought you were so easy for you to talk to people." I'm like, not that easy. So I think that's it.
You're shy, but you're shy in a Brazilian way. That's still a different level than like Japanese shy, for example, right? Like
Yeah,
you're like
probably.
Brazilian shy.
I'm
I
Brazilian
love
shy.
that.
Yeah.
Which fictional character, doesn't matter if it's movie or books or anything, comic books, it doesn't matter. Which fictional character are you most likely like you as a person, and why?
Oh Jesus, the character that is most likely like me. Uh, I would say if Jack Sparrow was a Slytherin.
Oh my god, I'm a Slytherin, by the way. Oh my god,
Me
I love
too.
that.
So if Jack
I
Sparrow,
love
because Jack Sparrow is just fucking insane. He just
yes.
goes like he just do it like he doesn't have a plan. He just finds way through shit. But the difference is like I think I'm more Slytherin in a way of like I have a lot of goals. I have a lot of. So if Jack Sparrow was a Slytherin, probably.
My god, I love also Professor Snape. He's my favorite like character. I always identify with him for some reason. I think it says a lot about people when you ask them this question. You should do this, when you
Mhm.
meet someone new. Um,
True. Yeah,
Interesting. And
that's a
then
good question. That's a really good question. Yeah.
yeah, thank you. And then okay, my last one is something that like a scene or something that you directed or that's something that you have written that is still haunting you, good or bad, that you think about. You know when you have these shower thoughts, like why did I say that? Why did I do
Good or
that? Do you have that?
bad?
Yeah, that's haunting you, like something you
Why
directed
did
or
I
something
do
like.
that?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. It still haunts me. Ah, fuck. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe probably a YouTube video that I've done a long time ago. I don't know. Oh, okay. There is one video. I'm not gonna mention exactly, but he's even deleted. But this video was my first of new like I was starting a new type of vlog back in 2014. And the first video was me telling the story about I got robbed by this guy that looked like Brad Pitt. And the guy was like really fucking handsome, and I was with this girl, and he almost stole the girl. So like he stole my phone, he stole my money, and he almost stole the girl. I always like to tell the story, but the way that I did, it sounded really racist, and I did not notice that. Uh,
Yeah.
and then people in the comments, they were destroying me back in the day, and I was like, what the fuck happened? And then I rewatched it, and I listened to the sentence, and I'm like, holy fuck! And I deleted the video immediately. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ! So it still haunts me because I'm like, how did that sentence come out that way? And I did not see that sentence coming out that way, and that's not what what I wanted to say. And it's been 11 years since that happened, but I still think of that shit. I still think, Jesus fucking Christ, that was so wrong. That was so fucking wrong. I should not have posted that shit. I should not have even said that. So like, yeah, that still haunts me a lot,
Oh my
even
goodness. That's
11
so,
years later.
dude, that's, by the way, that's really relatable. Maybe not on that scale of the viewership that you had, but like if people could, I hate this cancel culture. If people could like take out normal people's old tweets and old things that they posted on Facebook, everybody would be canceled. Everybody would be mortified.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. Like we have to like, even if you did mean it in a racist way, like there's still like you can still learn from a mistake or realize you made a mistake, you know, which you didn't even, right? Like sometimes I say stupid shit and also not realizing it until like it's so normal. It's just human, right? I find that very
It was just the
relatable.
way my brain worked as well. But like the thing is, I was making that vlog with like the vlog was made of short sentences and rapid cuts, so I couldn't speak like I'm talking right now with like explaining what it was like. Then this guy showed up and did this, and so it was literally like that. My video was literally cut like that.
See,
So
yeah,
I had to so I had to make that very objective, and then I didn't notice that what I was saying sounded racist until people commented. Because first, when I did when I said that, I said it like cut. I didn't say the whole sentence at once. I said this and this and this and this and this. Then I edited, and then when I was editing, I was worried about the cut timing, like the timing of the pacing, and
of
not
course.
exactly what's being said. So I
Yeah.
haven't watched the whole thing as a watcher. So when people watched, they were like, "Dude, this is wrong," and I'm rewatched it. I'm like, "My God, delete." So I had to, yeah. So that was 11 years ago. So I think that's something that still haunts me. From time to time, I'm like, hopefully nobody watched that video. Yeah,
Well, now you cleared it up. This is why I love podcasts. It's like people can like explain themselves as well, you know? So, you know, now people know it was never meant that way. It's fine. You
yeah,
know, it's like, yeah,
yeah.
I think we all do some stupid shit anyway. So,
But I think
um,
only 2,000 people saw it, so it's good. Back 11 years ago, so
yeah. Okay, good. Only
yeah,
2,000 people, you know, like we talked about earlier,
only
only
2,000.
2,000.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, Victor, it was amazing to have this conversation with you. I had so much fun. Like I genuinely had so much fun. And I think we had such a cool
me too. Thank you
conversation.
so much.
Guys, for everyone who, yeah, you guys were not there, but when me and Victor, before we recorded, I don't know if I mentioned this even when we recorded. Now I have amnesia now already after while I'm recording. But he said that I look like Lady Gaga. So please comment below if you think that's true, or do I look more like Amy Winehouse? Those are the two people I always get. In Japan, I always get Anne Hathaway as well. So I found that very funny. So that's one thing for the comment section. And yeah, thank you so much, Victor. It was amazing to have this conversation with you. I'm so happy, and thank you for supporting me as well. And I hope this can like support you as well in some way with my little mini platform that I have. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me one more time. And yeah, like it was a pleasure, and I'm always free for if you're down to do another one in the future or something like that. Just let me know. If you also need someone references to people for you to interview, I would love to refer some amazing people. And yeah, good luck on your new adventure, and I'm sure that is gonna be a huge success.
Thank you so much. And we have to catch up when you're back in Tokyo. You have to let me know. So yeah, thank you.
Hopefully in March I'll be there.
Okay, cool. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you soon.